on the latest episode of the Job Scam Report. So creator and writer Mark Anthony Dyson gathers a real zero-trust expert panel, Jay Jones the profiler, Ashley Price Horton, and Russ Irby, the HR honey badger, to break down the downright scary rise of AI fraud. First, the old Cena Test, actually trusting what you can see, is totally did. AI video is now so incredibly realistic that candidates might just be interviewing with a scripted AI avatar instead of a real human being. It's gotten to the point where entire professions like stunt work are literally facing total replacement by CGI. Second, companies are completely falling for the bait and wait scam. They think they're hiring everyday remote staff, but they're actually onboarding fake employees, often actors from North Korea, believe it or not. These fakes just use the job to gain long-term access to corporate infrastructure and financial accounts before they finally strike. Finally, we all need to be playing aggressive defense. If you get a suspected spam call, hang up immediately. Because if you keep talking, they can easily record you to clone your exact voice. You've also got to verify every single recruiter's email domain against real landing pages and keep a strict log of your applications so you can quickly spot fake follow-up emails. Basically, as AI blurs the line between what's real and fake, successful hiring and job searching now absolutely demands zero-trust verification tactics. In the digital deception era, your skepticism is your best security.
But
I wanted to say something about your video too.
okay, which one?
The bird video. So that's
Okay,
also interesting because I was watching it and I was like, it looks so real, but the little characteristics of AI within it. And I wondered to myself, how many people watched this and thought that was a legitimate bird? Because I didn't see anybody in the comments say anything about the AI. And it said to me, man, it's starting to get more and more real in the videos.
we discussed this in the past. I brought this up about deepfake videos.
Yes.
I've been talking about for over a year now. I have my friend Carrie Tomlinson, who I'm going to have back sometime soon. But the figure is, we saw it in real time how real it was going to get. Because first it was VEO3 that Google had put out and made this very realistic video. Unless you were paying close attention, you would have just looked at like most people look at TV and said, oh, this is real. How did they do this? And not thinking that it was AI generated. Then Sora 2 kind of broke the levees, so to speak, on this. So now we can expect that the Cena Test will be obsolete. You know what I mean? With the John Cena test.
Can't see me.
Can you really see me? What you do, and Russell, I don't know if you saw, I don't know if you listened to that episode.
And see, and that's the thing about this is they've known about this forever. There's a reason why the Screen Actors Guild and the actors went on strike. Those are their experts in it. They were already saying they won't need actors anymore because they can create an entire movie with AI and not even pay any actors to be in it. They were worried about their images being stolen, and suddenly you bring it to John Cena in the movie, but yet he's never been in the movie. Stunt medium. The entire stuntman way of life gone because now stunts could be done with AI. So that's the reason for that entire stop work, is because this was coming. So it's here. It's already here. You can make whatever.
This has been going on for some time, even with the beginning of CGI. And we were like, this is such an amazing advancement in cinema. You can just see things that aren't there, but they look so real. If you just trace it back, CGI and motion capture in video games to get the actual movements of the either NBA players or the NFL players. Yes, it's cool to have this ultra realistic experience, but it's never going to stop progressing. And that's the point. It's like, it always starts off as something that is convenient, something that is appealing, but then you look up and it's like you just conveniently put yourself out of commission, so to speak, or out of business.
Yeah. Can you imagine the candidates now are going to have to, what are they going to do? For most of them, especially if you've been out of the workforce, you don't participate in social networks, which is really still most people in the world. They're going to get to an interview thinking they're interviewing with a real person. Now, how timely the response will be, I don't know. But surely the interviewer will control the interview, having it scripted. Please tell me about this, that, and the other. Tell me about this, that, and the other. They won't respond to movement, to a wrong answer, to a fake answer. They're just going to respond. And then get the candidate to a point to where, oh, I'm convinced and I'm hoping for this chance. Then they can ask for more information. Now they can get more personal information. Yeah, you're going to get hired. Now we want you. Because before we said, do all the tests first before. That means you're going to have to, that means you're going to have to vet a whole lot closer now up front, and it better be thorough, or learn through the back that you've been had. Am I missing something here? Anybody?
No, not at all. This is what I hate to tell job seekers, but it's necessary. It's like it takes 30 minutes or more before you should ever even respond to a message that you get, because you have to vet the URL, you have to vet the person, you have to vet the profile, you have to vet the company, you have to vet the descriptions within the profile to see whether or not that's real. Like I say, I get hundreds of messages a week from people, and I got one this morning where this lady asked me if this recruiter was real, and the website email it ended in Word.Excel or something like that. I'm just making that up. But
Right.
a quick tip to verify whether or not an email is real is just put the domain in the URL and search it. And so when I did that, it led to a lander page. So that's a clear tell that this is not a real email. This is not a real business. It's that kind of stuff where don't go off of how good the email sounds. Don't go off of how well they present themselves in their messaging. Always check everything, and one red flag is enough to stop.
Yes. And this is very important. Yeah. Go ahead, Russell.
Go to the other side. I'm the HR side of it. I'm the hiring side. So many companies have been burnt from an AI interviewer, because like I said, it does listen to the question. It answers the question. It answers it right. It knows the software. Quite a few companies have hired a foreign actor now from doing that, giving them access to their computer systems, giving them access to their financial accounts.
Yeah.
And it's North Korea or Africa or somewhere else that's doing it. And they've got this person hired because they never brought them on site. They never actually saw the real person. And a lot of companies now have gone to that. They've gotten away because of the expense. Now they're having to come back to it because it's too expensive not to.
There's one thing I want to add to that, because I've talked about this a couple of times, but there's this woman who was on LinkedIn where she shared her story, and she found out that she had worked for a company for 2 years, but she actually never did. And I made a little funny video about it where it was the one-way interview, where it was no camera, because it ties back into the mindset the job seekers have of trying to be overly compliant and doing whatever and tolerating whatever just because they're desperate to get a job. And so what happened was this company interviewed somebody that they thought was this woman, but she didn't appear on camera because she said she had a medical condition. And so the company they don't want to risk being discriminatory or whatnot. So they took that excuse, and she worked there, quote unquote, for 2 years. And then by happenstance, it was discovered that this person they had within their company for 2 years was not the real person. And then, like you said, Russell, about North Korea, what they tend to do is play the long game. So they don't jump right into immediate brute force tactics. They'll slowly gather information over time. Like I was saying this to somebody else this morning, this has global implications because they can learn how the U.S. infrastructure of different businesses work, help undermine it, see where they're trying to go, get there first. It's a bigger problem than what people think.
It's called bait and wait. That's what they call it, bait and wait, where they throw it out and they know the long game is eventually you're going to fall. And not to mind you that, and we talked about this before, scammers, they probably have about 90 to 98% of information on all of us anyway, because of our activities, of where they've been, how we've socialized. They studied all that. And I know, Jay, that you often say that we can't accuse them of being smart. But I've said before, and people try to dispute me on it, they're smart marketers, because you've got to be a smart marketer to watch and know what people habitually do and how they're going to respond to different stimulus, different ads, and different information. I want to get to a couple of the comments here before I go on. One LinkedIn user said, "It's true. I asked a recruiter to email me from their work email as they shared that they worked for a specific company, but their profile shared several different companies. I continued to push back, and they eventually went dark." So to get any kind of answer or to get no answer tells you everything that most people should know. That one red flag means delete, disengage, report it.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Jay.
Because it shouldn't be like pulling teeth to get this information. Like a real
Right.
recruiter, a real HR person, they're upfront, they have the job rec, they're public facing, the company is legitimate, it's bona fide, the website has been around for
Yep.
multiple years. You can't have a VP of recruiting who just started their LinkedIn profile, but they've been a VP of recruiting for 20 years. Like, it makes no sense.
Exactly.
And you
And
know,
yeah, go ahead. Ashley.
one of the things that I tell my members, I always tell them, and I will say this again, is to always go through legitimate job boards from the company directly. So I've even started advising my clients, don't even go to LinkedIn, don't even go to the regular job boards. Go straight to the companies, like literally type in the Walmarts and the Googles and what have you, and apply that, and then log every single job in your job tracker, the company you apply to, the dates, the job description, everything. So when somebody reaches out to you and they say, hey, I just received your resume, you applied for XYZ, you can go back through your sheet and say, you know what? I might have applied to that company. That's true, but I actually didn't apply to that role, or I didn't apply like they're saying. So this might not be legitimate. You got to take in measures to protect yourself as much as possible.
There's
Right.
one
I
other
like
thing I wanted to can I add real quick.
Yeah.
Scammers know the volume of applications that job seekers put in, so they know that you're not going line by line checking every company that you apply to. So what they do is they'll send you an email saying, hey, we got your resume. Hey, we have this application on file for you, and we want to follow up with you. What you always should do if you get that, before you even engage, is check your received messages or search that company's name within your inbox. And if it doesn't come up, that means you've never applied to that job or that company. Because every time you apply to a role, you get confirmation email saying, hey, thank you for your application. We've received it. And then they'll be in touch whether or not they will. That's up to them. But you always get that email. So if you've never gotten an email from that company, then they're lying to you, because they're banking on the fact that you don't know who you've applied to because you've applied to so many places.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Laura, who says that she says, I'm an employed corporate recruiter. She says she plays them to the end. But that's not reasonable for everybody. And
Yeah, they don't have to.
they don't have the time. But having said that, though, some job search advice, one thing I keep saying is, if you're applying to 100 jobs a week, you can't be paying attention to each job description. Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong. I truly stand on, if you're applying to 100 jobs a week, you likely are going to have your information fall into some hands you don't want them to. And that's where most people get side-roaded. Go ahead, Rusty.
You've got to, we talked about easy apply. I put in for a lot of easy applies when I was out of work, but only if it showed me who the job poster was. Then I could look up the job poster before I messaged them. You know, the easy apply is fine. Now, easy apply shotgunning that you're just hitting it, that's a good way for your stuff to end up where it doesn't need to be. So there are good ones. I wouldn't throw it all out, because some people say don't ever hit easy apply. No, it's okay to do that. But as long as, just like anything else, you do your due diligence, just like you don't apply to anyone that contacts you without doing your due diligence.
Yeah.
Still contact them today. You were talking about the long game. You're right. I've actually know of one case that I'd helped a company with, where the person had been there a couple of years, been promoted up, and now they were hiring in from their group, and thus it's getting more infiltrated in the company. That's what you were talking about, that long game, when they can be there longer. And now they are bringing in more criminals, because now the hiring manager, they didn't do anything. It's what we would call a clean. When I was working in law enforcement, someone who has no criminal background gets a job at the prison. Since they have no criminal background, even though they're in the gang, they're not allowed to have the tats. They're not allowed to commit crimes with the gang. They get hired in corrections. Now they got someone that could bring stuff in. They become a sergeant, can even hire more of them in. It's working that same way with the scammers.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know if you guys saw my video a couple of weeks ago. Facebook has started Facebook marketing jobs, not the actual Facebook marketing jobs, but they're putting back job posting on Facebook Market. Back in the day, it was a minefield for all kinds of things. Now they're going to put it back at this time in this economy. You know what kind of minefield that's going to be? It's going to be full of scam jobs. You want a scam job, we know exactly where to go. Facebook.
You saw the news about the 16 billion in scam ads and banned goods revenue that they made.
Right. Yeah. Again, it's the money grab aspect, not the safety aspect there. So it's up to each of us to be safe. I like what Laura says. She says that, and thanks, Laura, for coming. She says she gets about 300 applications per requisition, per job posting that's out there. So, you're not helping. And probably out of those 300, I'd say there might be 3 or 4 she actually might see, that she might interview. Just to give you
Well,
guys an idea. Go ahead, Ashley, you can speak from
yeah.
experience.
I kind of want to make a comment, and that is if you find yourself on the phone and you identify that you're speaking to a spammer, please don't get into the habit talking to them for longer than you should. The moment you answer that call and you realize that you were talking to a scammer, hang up. It is so enticing to want to talk to them and manipulate them and prove them wrong and get on their nerves and what have you. But you put yourself in a lot of risk the more of your voice that they capture.
The recording, yeah.
People start to slip and say things that they didn't intend to. They hear things in your background. They get an idea to know where you are. Like, don't allow yourself to be tracked, traced, your voice to be cloned. Just don't do it.
Once you start
Yeah.
engaging them, you verify that you are who they call.
Yeah, because they'll be
Buddy,
like,
go ahead.
they'll call me and they'll be like, hey, I'm trying to do this Jay Jones. Is this Jay Jones? And I'm like, who is this speaking? He's like, I'm calling to find out if you're in the market for a job opportunity. Click, block.
But most people have settings on their phones now. The phones have gotten a lot better. The cell phones have gotten a lot better where
Scam
you can
likely.
set it. Yeah, you can set it so that you don't even hear the phone ring if you don't recognize the phone number. If you guys need to do a little tutorial one day, I could do that and put it on YouTube, but it's real easy. You can also get the app called Robo Killer on iPhone. And there's some that are similar on the Android side, which will help you screen those calls. But basically, why have them ring your phone at all? And whoever has a legitimate message, they're going to leave a message or text.
Well, they leave
or
messages too.
and they'll be forthright in proving who they are. Scammers, they're on to the next person. So it's better not to answer the phone call. So I think
Actually, what I did is switched my office line to a Microsoft Teams. You can pay for it. It's not that expensive. To a
Right.
Microsoft Teams line. Now, if they're called, in order to get through to me, I'll see if it's a Teams one, I'll answer it. If it's a phone number I don't know, I'm not answering my cell. It'll ring on my
Mhm.
computer. It'll ring on my office phone. It'll ring on my cell phone. That way I know if it's business coming through or not. Because the only ones who are getting that is if the ones who know my business line.
And for me, if a call comes in, I don't know the number, I'm immediately Googling that number. I will wait. If I don't find the answer through Google, I will put that thing on voicemail and I will just read the words that come through. And it's usually somebody from consumer services.
Yep.
Can't tell you how I've blocked 50 numbers a day at this point from that same person.